Hi, I'm Kyle Weeks, Product Controls Engineer and Lead Software Developer for the AccuFlux Filter Integrity Tester. Today, I really want to focus on the benefits of this system and all the time that it can save you if you use it over, potentially a competitor. So, the biggest savings are going to be the actual test times themselves. When you run your industry standard tests, diffusive flow, bubble point, or others, but primarily those two, it takes about 3 minutes per test, probably shorter, oftentimes with the bubble point. This is going to save you a ton of time, especially if you have a high throughput, if you have a lot of filters you're running through. It's really hard to overstate the savings there. You combine that with how easy the system is to use, which again saves you time, as well as the construction, which is going to reduce your maintenance costs and maintenance time. You got yourself a system that's going to save you a lot of time and money in the long run. So let's jump into it, and I'll kind of give you a little more detail. Starting with the construction. Being stainless steel, of course, that's going to be easy to wipe down and clean, but it runs deeper than that. The inside is also extremely robust and only permanent connections. So we've got a manifold inside that has all of our channels, our air channels. This is going to reduce the amount of tubing and push-to-connects, which ultimately are kind of the culprit when you have leaks inside. And a leaky system is a non-functioning system, and that's why we put a lot of focus into making sure that this system was extremely robust in the face of potential leaks. Because when you have a system failed, that's probably what the problem is. So between the manifold design and then stainless steel tubing with compression fittings, everything's permanent and everything's extremely tight. So it's that construction that's going to really reduce any potential future maintenance on the system. It's going to save you a lot of time and honestly headache, because when a system's not working right, first you got to troubleshoot what's going on, and then you actually have to get it repaired. So nothing but time savings there. And on the inside, you're also going to have, of course, your sensors. We have a highly accurate pressure sensor along with 3 mass flow meters. It's this combination of this great hardware plus the software, which I'm about to talk about, which really brings that time savings as far as the lightning fast tests. Let's take a moment to look at the process connections real quick. So the red one, that's going to be your air in, your 100 psi process air. You got your blue line, which goes out to your filter, and then your green and yellow, this is going to be your vent line. Normally you tee it off, that way you can automatically depressurize, but you can also run a single line to manual depressurize, and you can also run out to a fume hood or anything like that if you want your air to exhaust somewhere other than the open room. One more benefit is that they're actually keyed, so you can't plug into the wrong connection. It's a Windows 10 based operating system for the system, so tying into that, you've got multiple USB ports around the system. That makes it extremely easy to connect any peripherals you have. If you want to connect like a physical keyboard, a mouse, barcode scanner to save you time on entering information. Extremely easy to do that. It's plug and play. Tying into that, the Windows 10 operating system makes it easy for system setup on the IT side. So if you want to connect your domain, even if you want to set it up for Active Directory login, if you want to enhance security, maybe with some antivirus, even down to just simple things like setting the time, setting up network save location, setting up your default printer. All these things are just so simple because it's Windows and it's what everyone's used to. So a great benefit there. Your IT team will thank you. Diving a little bit more into the software, the design of the UI is extremely intuitive and simple. I really can't stress this enough. Being it's such a massive color screen display, we have the privilege of being able to break everything large and colorful and apparent and in view. So everything you need to know is right there in front of you. You don't have to cycle through a whole number of pages or tabs or anything like that. Everything you want to see is right there available to you. So that makes it a lot simpler to use and saves you a lot of time on figuring out the system, because that does take time. I know we've all been frustrated before, using some kind of new device, and it gets frustrating, and you have to talk to tech support and search the manual. We really try to do our best to reduce all of that time and make it so that as soon as you see the system, as soon as you see the clear labels and the buttons, it just makes sense. And you'll experience that when you try to create a recipe. It's just very simple. Diving down a little deeper into the software. So, of course, the system's fully 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. You have your uneditable batch records and your audit logs. So anything that you do with the system, it's going to log who did it, what time, what the action was. Those are all saved locally on the system as PDFs, but it's extremely simple to set up automatically saving everything to a network location. So if you'd like to do that as well, we'd recommend it. So the reports come as PDFs. They're fully colored, they're big, they're easy to read. You're not going to get any little like skinny printouts on thermal paper that are all text and rub off real easily and eventually fade. Nothing like that. All full color. You print on big printer paper. It looks fantastic. Coming back to 21 CFR Part 11 compliance, local user login system with unique usernames and passwords. If you'd like I mentioned before, you could do Active Directory login. There are 3 different levels of login, 3 different permissions. So you got the operator, supervisor, and manager. This is going to ensure that whoever has access to the system is only using what they need to use, only seeing what they need to see. Again, kind of tying into how simple and easy to use. Because if you're an operator and you log into the system, all you need to see is select the recipe and run it, and then maybe view the history. So I mentioned before how fast the system is. There are really 2 kind of giants as far as the integrity test for filters. You got bubble point, you got diffusive flow. But of course, the system is also going to be able to handle water intrusion tests and pressure hold. So the ability to run these things in 3 minutes is considerable. That is pretty disruptive to the industry. I'd really like to be able to show you, a demo to see when we're on a bubble point test on this filter. We've got a Meissner Stylux 0.2 micron filter. I'll show you how easy it is to set up and run through. So first off, you're going to want to log into the system. By default, the user is just admin. Once you get your system, the first thing you'll probably want to do is actually create a permanent user with your actual name and password. I'm going to select the recipe. I have created one here called a bubble point demo. At this point, you would want to enter in your filter serial number, lot number, product description for whatever you're running, potentially your product lot number and your product batch number. These fields are not required, but recommended, and they will appear on the report along with all the rest of the information about the recipe and the filter. I'm going to go ahead and skip that for now, and just going to hit start. So immediately, you're going to see the pressure come up. Now, what's great about the AccuFlux bubble point test is it offers you a little bit more security than just the bubble point test. It's going to be running what's called a pre-bubble point leak test beforehand to give you an extra level of confidence in the integrity of your filter. So what we're seeing here in the graph is the very beginning, it's running a volume determination. The system's going to automatically determine what the volume of the system is, and it's going to run into a pressure decay type test right before the bubble point. What's fantastic is that this pre-bubble point testing takes about a minute, and then the bubble point determination part of the test is about 2 minutes. Again, hitting that 3-minute mark, lightning fast. So right now we can see the pressure decaying. One of the great things about being a touchscreen with the multi-touch is that I can just take my finger and I can just zoom in and kind of see what the system is doing. And this is more than just a cool novelty like, oh, cool, you can zoom in. When you're an operator running these things day in and day out, you're going to be very familiar with what looks normal and what looks abnormal. So when you're viewing the pressure up close, you can really get an idea of what's happening. And if you see anything out of the ordinary, you can stop the test. And that way in your report, you get a user stopped test rather than a failed filter because maybe you forgot to connect a connection or forgot to close a vent valve or something like that. So again, saving you time, making it convenient. So auto scaled back here, so you can kind of, again, see the bigger view. Now you can see it actually bringing the pressure up so we can find that bubble point. You also get a live readout of the pressure up here on the orange. You can see the bar filling up. For this particular filter, we have a bubble point limit of 44 psi. So we can already see we're looking pretty good. We're past that limit. And we should be hitting that bubble point pretty soon. We can see the pressure starting to level out, and here we are. There we go. So we have our result, 59.42 psi, very reasonable. It's a pass. I can enter in any test notes that I may have, and I can hit confirm. Now at this point, the system's going to ask you to acknowledge the test. This doesn't have to be the person who ran the test. This can be a supervisor or anyone else. But this will appear on the report as who acknowledged it and what time, to company who ran the test and at what time. And that's all there is to it. Now at this point, you can see the full graph here. For this particular filter, we actually ran this whole test in less than 2 minutes, which is pretty considerable. It's extremely fast. It's going to vary, but typically you're anywhere from that 2 to 3 minute range. connecting to your filter couldn't be simpler since we have Stobly connections. Push to release, press into connect, and the latch is in place. And that's pretty much it. You know, I know that seemed simple and quick, and there wasn't really much to it because there really isn't. You hook up your filter, you select your recipe, you enter in any relevant data, you know, for this particular filter, and then you hit start. And once it's done, it's done. You can hop over to the history screen. I can view that report that you just generated. I can, you know, zoom in on any part of it if I'd like, using just my fingers. There I can print it, I can save it somewhere. If you want it to always print, you can set up the system to automatically print every result. And even the raw data is collected and saved in the .csv file. So if you want to really dig in and see the data, you know, see what all the actuators are doing, see what all the sensors are doing at every given timestamp, you can do that. Just open it up in Excel. So really giving you the freedom there. You know, showing you as much as you'd like to see, but also giving you the freedom to, you know, dig a little deeper if you'd like to get more information. Again, that's pretty much all there is to it. So, you know, please, if you'd like to see a demo or you know, talk to a representative, get more information, you know, reach out to us. If you visit meisner.com/AccuFlux, you can find a lot of helpful information, including, I believe, a couple videos. So, you know, please do check that out.